What's going on, everyone? So we're all still anxiously waiting around to see what is going to happen with Dejounte Murray to the Lakers. Dejounte Murray is the number one target for the Lakers based on the countless reports. It looks like that's kind of an inevitability that at some point Dejounte Murray is going to be a Laker. They don't technically have to trade him this year, but I don't see his value increasing next season, right? And Atlanta and their interest would probably be best to get him off sooner rather than later. But regardless, right? We're waiting. We're seeing what's going to happen with that. They need to find a third team for D'Angelo Russell because the Atlanta Hawks don't want D'Angelo Russell. So that could be a leverage point for the Lakers, maybe to get back and recoup some other pieces besides Dejounte Murray, because I do believe the Lakers need more than just Dejounte Murray. And the Lakers are also still doing their due diligence to go and try to find other pieces and also other players in case the Dejounte Murray trade ends up falling through. But many of the other trades, the Lakers kind of view as basically being neutral. Like they're not beneficial trades for especially the way D'Angelo Russell is playing right now. D'Angelo Russell is playing absolutely out of his mind. He's averaging like just a hair under 28 points a game, 6.5 assists over the last 7 games. But he was also basically averaging that in limited minutes coming off the bench before he went into the starting role, right? He was playing like 15 minutes and giving you 12 points in that time, which if you translate to the 30 plus minutes he's playing right now would give you basically 27, 28 points a game. So he's been playing this way for quite some time now. And I could see why the Lakers look at it and go, hey, we don't want to make any lateral trades. But Jovan Buha released an article saying players like Malcolm Brogdon, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Tyus Jones don't hold much interest for the Lakers in a potential deal for D'Angelo Russell because they are seen as lateral moves at best by the team. Now, I do agree with basically all of these players, but there's 2 guys that aren't on this list that have been linked to the Lakers that I think are interesting, and it's not counting Dejounte Murray because obviously Dejounte Murray, that's their number one priority. This is about the other guys that have been linked and spoken about the Lakers. First one is Bruce Brown, right? So the Lakers have heavy interest in Bruce Brown. I don't really see them getting there just because, you could swap D'Lo for Bruce Brown, but even then it's like, how much better does that make you, for one? And then 2, it's like, what do you have to give up? Do you have to give up picks? If anything, especially the way D'Lo's playing right now, you almost want to demand something in return. But regardless, I don't necessarily see Bruce Brown, but he was left off that list, and he has been he's the second top priority behind Dejounte Murray based on reports for the Lakers. So do they see him as an improved move? Do they see him as a upgrade over D'Angelo Russell? Also, another guy that isn't on this list, but I just think that's just more of like he was just left off, is Colin Sexton. The Lakers were interested in Colin Sexton for a while, but Colin Sexton, you haven't heard any talk. It was reported basically once of hey, the Lakers are interested in Colin Sexton, and we haven't heard anything since. We've heard Tyus Jones several times, but we haven't really heard anything from Colin Sexton, which I didn't like the idea at all. A lot of people did. It was like, Colin Sexton, he's not good. He's good, don't get me wrong, but he's not the answer for the Lakers. People talk about D'Lo and Reeves and stuff being inconsistent. Sexton is up there with one of the best as far as inconsistencies. One game he looks like he's second coming to Michael Jordan. The next game he looks like he's me out there playing, right? It's not the same thing. But the Bruce Brown part, I think, is more of hey, maybe the Lakers do view him as an upgrade, where the Colin Sexton, I think, is more of just he was just not mentioned. Jovan Buha just didn't mention every single player that is on that list. It's kind of my thoughts in that regard. But somebody like Spencer Dinwiddie, I talked about it. I thought the Brooklyn Nets make a ton of sense as that third team for the Lakers and the Hawks in a potential trade, right? Because Spencer Dinwiddie's on an expiring contract. He wants out of Brooklyn desperately. There are literal reports that he's just basically disinterested and he's playing so poorly that they believe he's basically quit on the team, which is never a good sign. But I also think he makes sense for Atlanta. If he can get back to being the Spencer Dinwiddie we know he can be, he actually does make some sense alongside Trae Young, right? As like that point of attack defensive guy, give you a big solid wing, guard that can occasionally shoot. He's kind of hot and cold when it comes to shooting. He's either like lights out one game or he just like can't hit a shot to save his life. But he is a guy that can pull up in the mid range, can make some plays. Not a great playmaker. He's a guy that I do think makes sense for Atlanta. And if it doesn't work out, then you just let him go and it's no big deal and you clear some money off your books. And then for the Brooklyn Nets, right, like they could get back D'Angelo Russell, maybe get back some other pieces, some assets. Maybe they get like a second or 2 seconds for doing the favor. But even then, like I actually think D'Lo makes a world of sense for the Brooklyn Nets. And like they need a playmaker and they need shooting at the guard position badly. And D'Lo would provide both of those things. Give you that playmaker. You have all the wings and depth in that regard to just provide that. But they don't really have somebody like a D'Angelo Russell. I actually think D'Angelo Russell would be a huge upgrade for them for what they need, for what that team needs over a Spencer Dinwiddie. And now it's being reported that that could be a real possibility. That Dinwiddie would go to the Atlanta Hawks, D'Lo would go to the Nets, and then the Lakers would get Dejounte Murray. Now, personally, I think the Lakers should stay away from Spencer Dinwiddie. Even when he was on first announced on the list of like, hey, Lakers may target him. I understand he may be an upgrade defensively over D'Lo, although he hasn't really been this year. I just think D'Lo, he's a better playmaker, he's a better shooter, better just like natural scorer. And I just think, I agree. I think it's just a lateral move and one that might make you worse. But if you're getting a Dejounte Murray, okay, then that's different. Also, could you get other pieces from Brooklyn, right? Give up a Rui Hachimura, go get like a Dorian Finney-Smith or a Royce O'Neal, or maybe you could get both. That would be nice. Something in that regard, right? Because I do think the Lakers need more than just a Dejounte Murray. I think if you get Dejounte Murray, like, yeah, that's okay, cool. Got a bit of an upgrade. But I just think, like, how much is he going to change the landscape for the Lakers? I think you need to get a little bit more. But Tyus Jones, I like Tyus Jones a lot, but not as a starter in a backup role. And Washington right now, they want like 2 firsts for Tyus Jones or something crazy like that, which they're not going to get. They are just putting way too high of a price tag on Tyus Jones. He's not a starting point guard. He's just not. Like, he could fill in a spot. He could fill in a gap, if you're a real starting point guard, right? Like, if we get Dejounte Murray, I think Tyus Jones would be incredible. Tyus Jones is probably the best backup point guard in the league. And he's a guy that, like, when Dejounte Murray has a game off or something, Tyus Jones can step in and you can win games with him, right? But as far as, like, him being the answer at your point guard position long term and him being, like, the point guard on a championship team, I just don't necessarily see that. Unless your other 4 are just, like, incredible, right? You give me, like, prime LeBron and, Anthony Davis and, if you had another star, right, then, yeah, maybe Tyus Jones makes a lot of sense, right? Okay, like, because you just need that serviceable point guard that can also play off of LeBron, shoot the basketball. Like, Tyus Jones does make sense for, like, type player LeBron is, but he just hasn't been very good defensively. How much of that is, like, he's on the Washington Wizards, and he's not better than D'Angelo Russell. He's just not. However, again, if you trade D'Lo and get Dejounte Murray, but if you could get a 3-team deal, which the Wizards are another team that is linked to the Lakers as potentially being part of a 3-team deal, could you get Dejounte Murray and then work out a deal to where you get Tyus Jones and like a Daniel Gafford? That would be great. Right now you solved your backup point guard position. You got your starting point guard, and now you got your backup center. To me, that would be another, like, great trade, great move. But again, outside of that, it's just like none of the other guards that are linked, as I've highlighted before, are worth it. None of them are guys that would be real significant upgrades or even close upgrades to D'Lo. And I'm not saying D'Lo is best point guard in the league or anything, but he is a excellent point guard. He's one of the better playmakers at that position. He is an incredible shooter. Play off ball, play on ball, do a little bit of everything. In the right situation, the right team, I do think D'Lo can be your best, not player, but point guard. Where a lot of these other guys, real questions. Like D'Lo has led a team to the playoffs as the best player and was very good during that year, very good during that stretch. But all these other guys I just look at as like they're just more complementary role guys, the guys that you want in like a 6-man role or like your 7th guy off the bench, whatever. And I just think ultimately Dejounte Murray's the play. He's the target. Now, I do have my concerns. I do have my reservations about him. In a perfect world, he returns to San Antonio, Dejounte Murray. He's locked down defensively. He's capable of getting you 23, 6, and 9. And he's a guy that, that All-Star season, he averaged, I think it was like 24, 8, and 9. If he could get back to that, right, and be the defensive player he was, that all-defensive guy, and continue to shoot 40% from 3, then the Lakers are going to be terrifying. Good luck. Right, because now they definitely got another all-star, another like top guy. But realistically, what's more likely, that he continues to play the way he has the last few years? He's not a great defender, right? It's a lot of questions. A lot of questions. If we end up trading for Dejounte Murray, I'll be excited. I'll be pumped. I'm all for it. I'm not. I'm going to support him, be rooting for him. I hope he does become the guy that he can be. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Time will tell. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think, yes, those other guys, they are lateral moves. They don't make sense. Trade for D'Lo. Do you think, if maybe you don't trade D'Lo, maybe just go get those guys in like a backup role? How you feel, what your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.